Welcome to season 2 of No Shelf Control, the podcast with books, booze, and banter, hosted by authors for readers, because let's face it, we're all bookworms at heart.
This season, we're chatting about book-to-screen adaptations and trending BookTok books. I'm Lindsey Sparks.
And I'm Lindsey Pogue. Grab a beverage, kick back, and enjoy the show. And so it happened.
Yeah.
We welcome you to tonight's podcast. I was going to start putting on a bard voice and to celebrate the book we're going to be talking about, but then I was like, I don't actually know how to do a bard voice, so then I stopped. So welcome to tonight's episode of the podcast. This is kind of a different read for us. So we're going to be talking about Legends Lattes by Travis Baldree, which I don't know if people would necessarily resonate with the name, but if they saw the cover, I think a lot of people have probably seen the cover. Yeah. I know I've seen it everywhere. So anyways,
especially I feel like if you're on BookTok or Bookstagram
or Goodreads, I see it on Goodreads a lot. Yeah. So anyways, so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but let's just kind of, I don't know, I feel like I have the house to myself. The cats are sleeping, which never happens. It's quiet. It's dark. I don't know. I feel like I'm just like kind of winding down. Nice. It is, 8 p.m. But how about you? How are you doing this fine Thursday evening?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like excited that it's the end of the day. I mean, my 4-year-old is in a boundary pushing phase, so it's just like every day feels really like energy. Takes a lot of focus and energy to just like, all right, let's just reinforce these boundaries. Right. Constantly.
It's funny.
So yeah, I am feeling worn out.
Yeah. I can
excited to talk about books. Do something that's just mine.
I know. Yeah, I think I'm trying not to come down with anything. Like my throat's kind of bugging me. So I'm just like, positive thoughts only. Trying to take care of myself.
Drink some chamomile tea.
I know I should. I got, I was gonna make some for the podcast, and then I got sucked into watching Vikings Valhalla, and I was like, oh yeah, I have like 20 minutes to get my act together. I didn't make any tea. But anyways, let's talk about books. As we kind of settle in, I'm drinking water, as I said. My throat's a little sore tonight. What are you sipping on?
That's always a bad sign. Tea. Look at my pretty teacup.
I love that cup.
I am not positive where it came from. It was from some sort of a book box, I think.
Awesome. So it's probably made in some other country, handmade. I love that kind of stuff.
I love it. It's really pretty. The only thing that I don't love about it is like the tiny bottom, and it makes me nervous like that it'll get tipped over, especially by my small children. But I have like ingrained it into my kids that mugs are hot things, and so they're like, hot ow, just like looking at it. I'm like, yeah.
So stay away.
Yeah.
No touchy.
Yeah. But the tea is like Rubios decaf. They got cocoa chips and I want to say like mint. I don't know. I've never had it. It was like a little sample pack. So nice. It smells really good. I'm excited to try it.
I used to have a tea subscription box, and it was actually really fun.
Or Sipspy.
Yeah.
I'm still going through all of mine that I canceled it like a year ago because I was like, it was not in the tea phase, and I was like, I'm not drinking any of them. But now I am drinking a ton of tea, and I've been going through it like crazy now.
So,
yeah.
I definitely go through phases too. Yeah. Okay, so we're clearly not, super party animals tonight.
No, not upholding the booze.
The older we get, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's getting harder and harder.
I know.
But anyway, or are we getting more responsible? And when I say we, I mean me. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways. Okay, what have you been working on today or this week?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm all over the place. I've been working on some Patreon stories. I have been working on one Patreon story for off and on for like 5 days. I just haven't been vibing with it, I guess. And it's just been like, I can't like get in the zone. So I'll get like a couple pages at a time and I'm almost done and I'm going to be so relieved. And at least, I mean, it's a really fun serial, but it's a All World Online, like it's like the bridge serial between All World Online and the Atlantis Legacy, or between the Atlantis Legacy and All World Online, really going that direction. But I don't know. I just couldn't like get into the zone for it. And so it's just been like, I've been chipping away at it. Hopefully I'll get it done so I can get it up tomorrow. But I wrote another serial that was easy and fun. But that was from Nick's point of view, which is always easy and fun for me to write. And then I've been went through all my beta feedback for Darkness Between the Stars, which for whatever reason had it in my head that it was going to be like a big revision, and I was like really nervous and stuff, but it's actually really small stuff. Like,
good.
Yeah. So like you were one of my beta readers, and someone else, or you and like a few other people pointed out a couple moments where like I needed to seed some stuff earlier. Like it just seemed to come out of the blue. And so, but it's like easy stuff. You can just add a little line here, a little line there, and it like builds up to it just fine. So
yeah,
I was really nervous that people were going to be like, this is way, way steamier. And they were, but like,
it's a different kind of steam though.
But
than
it's
the first
not,
one.
yeah, it was, I even double checked. Everybody mentioned it. Every single beta reader mentioned it. That it was like, but in like a really positive way. But I was like, I had to double check with one of our good author friends, Sarah. And I was like, cause she really like talked about it a lot. I was like, okay, but is it too much? Like, do I need to tone it down or anything? And she came back and explained, she was like, no, it was good. It fit with like the progression from book one. And a lot of it had forwarded the story too. And I was like, cool. All right. Thanks for reinforcing what I already did. That makes me feel better. So, yeah, so I'm excited. I'm going to finally, finish going through, well, hopefully like tomorrow and then, Saturday, Sunday morning, I'll just finish up those changes. Cause like I said, there's not anything major. I think one of my beta readers wanted a couple scenes from like points of view that are not even in the book at all. And I was like, those are great ideas for bonus scenes. Like maybe that's what I'll do for those, but those scenes are not going to go in the story.
No, we're not adding
points of view. No. So, yeah, so I'm feeling really good about it. I don't know. It's always, I think I always get myself stressed out about like reading beta feedback and then.
Well, I think we all do.
Yeah.
Like it just comes with the territory.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, that's all I've got going on right now. Besides like random, like admin-y things, behind the scenes things. Oh, one really exciting thing I will say. I signed the contract with my illustrator for the interior illustrations for the Echo Trilogy 10th anniversary special edition hardcover books. And that's the final, like artist. That's the final like component of other people who need to contribute to it, and then I can put it all together. I'm really excited. Yeah, so
that's cool.
I feel like I've been working on this for so long that I'm excited to like. I started yesterday, starting to put together some of the interior, like building. You have to like really build it up, like the sections and stuff, and it's got some different front matter and back matter and stuff than the normal books. Then I have all these other scenes I'm adding in, and it'll be exciting.
That's cool. Yeah, you talk so much about your illustrators. I thought you already had all of them.
I did, but I just hadn't. It hadn't been official. So.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
got it. Well, that's exciting. One less thing you have to try and track down.
Contract signed. Yeah, and I know I've talked to you about her. Like she read the books, so that's really exciting. So I feel like that gives it the illustrations much more like depth because she fully understands the scenes and the characters and
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, what have you been working on?
I finally started writing Skies of Fire, which is the new, like, is it weird to say contemporary post-apocalyptic story?
I don't
Like,
think that you have announced this project.
yeah, I don't think so either. Well, I know I haven't, like, in my newsletter or anything. I've been kind of hinting at it, but so I'm starting a new project and there's no deadline, there's no due date. I'm not telling anybody when it's coming out because I don't want to put that pressure on myself. But it's been a long time coming. It's a world that I created with another author, and it's been like our fun side project. And finally we got like all the other things off our plate as far as big projects. So we're finally able to actually work on them, which is really fun. So I spent the last couple weeks like really getting into Nox and Ava are my characters, getting into their like conflict, their personalities, their backgrounds, all that. And then earlier this week, Dennis and I went to, or actually, I guess it was over the weekend. I wanted to do a bunch of like, research. So we went to like the Tractor Supply, feed store, all these different places to see what kind of stuff they had. And I took all these notes and stuff. So it was really funny. So the last 2 days I've been writing, I have 4 chapters done, I think. And it was just cool. I get to like, actually, I'm starting to use my notes and like, write a story. So it feels really good. But yeah, so I'm excited. It is it is post-apocalyptic. It is not in the ending world. So there's no special abilities or anything. So I guess technically, and it's modern day. So I guess technically this is like my first like old school legit like post-apocalyptic story. So but it's really cool. The basis is really interesting because we essentially created a major event that happened with the moon years ago, and they knew that eventually things would start happening. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like everyone tells you climate change. We'll just use that as an example. Like everyone's like, oh, climate change is happening, but they've been saying that for 100 years or 50 years or whatever. And like people are just like, okay, yeah, sure, it's happening. And then all of a sudden it happens and you're like, holy shit, it's happening, sort of
like
thing.
It actually causes changes.
It's kind of like that. It's not climate change, it's something else. But it's kind of like that. It's like people were born into this, like this existence of like, oh, sure, it's happening, okay. And then it does. And I don't know, it's really interesting and fun. So anyway, I'm excited to just really write about some different, it's a lot of environmental stuff. I mean, it really is what it's up against. It's called, the series is about surviving the earth. So it's like, here we go, So anyways, that's it for now. But that's really fun. And I took like, I had like all my notes from when I was with Dennis. He went with me and he was helping me come up with all these ideas of things that, ways I could use things and stuff like that when we were doing our research over the weekend. And it's just really funny because like he hears me talking about all this crazy stuff going on in my head. And like, I'm sure he tunes out half the time because he doesn't know, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's just really cool because today I had all of the notes that I was taking with him. And then I had all the stuff broken out with the characters. And I took a photo and I sent it to him and I was like, just so you know, I'm using all of this information that I spent the weekend getting, and he's like, oh, that's so cool. And then he's like, why did you change this and this? And then he started getting all interested. And I was like, well, because, that's called creative licensing. But anyway, it's kind of fun though. It kind of gets me giddy. And you know how it is, especially once you get your character cards made or your character descriptions done. So I got those and all done too.
A new world is always fun to explore once you get the background built up, and then once you actually start exploring it with your characters, it's always I mean, it feels like you're exploring it yourself. Like
and I'm not doing this as in California, so for me this is it's taking place it's beginning in Texas, and so I'm getting to like really kind of do a lot of research and play with the setting and stuff. And I mean, I don't know, how I am, like just deciding to write, Savage North Chronicles in the
places
Arctic,
you've
which
never
I've
been.
never been. So
at least
how
you've
I like
been
to
Texas.
Yeah, so it's just true. So I can kind of relate to that, but I don't know, it's just kind of fun. I find myself I've allotted a certain amount of time in the morning to write, and I find myself like really pushing that boundary. I'm like, you really have other things you need to do today. So, but I'm trying to just be kind to myself and whatever, get the creative juices flowing,
Yeah,
So,
I feel like that's like the number one thing that we need to do is write the story. So if it's flowing, like go with
I'm like,
it.
oh, taxes can wait.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been working on. And it's exciting. And I also got some fun. Well, I guess I won't show them because they're for Patreon people, but I got some fun goodies and stuff. I'll have to show you later in the mail today. So got some like fun stickers and anyway, it's really neat. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to enjoy the little things that make me happy being an author, because I feel like it's so easy to just get bombarded with all the other stuff.
No, for sure.
I just have to tell you, I was watching this girl, her video on TikTok today, and she is an author who, we always talk about how, there's all the admin. There's so much to do as being an author. Like writing is like a very small percentage of it, really. Like when you get down to it, it's like, because you're a business owner. And so she was talking about how her book got really big over, I don't know, I think it was like 6 months ago or something, like really big. And so she quit her job and she bought a really nice house with her husband and all this stuff. And she said that it's only been like 5 months or something since she quit her job. And she was just talking about how I thought I could just write all the time. And I barely write anymore. All I do is all the other things. And she's like, I have all these like classes and courses, and I'm supposed to be wanting to do ads because my sales are going down and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there going, welcome to the club, girl. It sucks. Like writing it really goes down the list. So it's hard. You have to like find a balance, and it takes, we've been trying to find a balance for 10 years plus. So
I know. And it's like, it really is like a business that comes and goes in waves. And, some people manage to find stability through like the subscriptions that are becoming more popular and that kind of thing. That's definitely a way to bring stability, or the authors who are like all in Kindle Unlimited, like that can bring a little more stability. But it just is like, I feel like when you have a day job, you don't notice the ups and downs as much of the business. But then when the business is like your livelihood, the ups and downs are terrifying.
Yeah. Well, and there's just so much thrown at you too. So
yeah.
I think that's probably what a lot of people don't get, is that you're not just an author, you're a business owner. So
yeah. And I think that's
things.
why like the writing gets kind of pushed to the side, because you're like, oh my God, like I have to keep this going, or I won't like buy gas. Like I can't pay my bills.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was just trying to really kind of celebrate the small fun things that make me happy of being a writer, because I've we talked about this on other episodes, but it's just like ready to get back to writing,
Yeah.
So anyways, but we could go on and on. Author woes, guys. Feel so bad for us. We're following our dreams. It's very stressful, but feel horrible for us.
No, don't. Okay. I love my job.
I'm just joking. But yeah, so before we talk about Legends Lattes, is there anything else that you're reading or anything right now?
I am reading the
book 14 in the
book number like 7 or 8. I don't know.
The Hollows, right? Yeah.
Kim Harrison's Hollows here. Black Magic Sanction. I don't know what number it is. It's probably like book 8 or something. For my comfort read. Nice. And I think I just finished reading World Without, beta reading for Sarah Lyons Fleming. Mm-hmm. Well, so that was, I needed to get it done, so I wasn't thinking about it while I was doing the reason
I'm like a quarter of the way through.
The reason LP is surprised is because Sarah writes the longest books in the history of like literature.
Yeah.
But they're really good. So so I just like plowed through it.
Nice.
Because I didn't want to like forget it, or yeah,
no, I totally get it. No, I totally get it. I know I'm trying to pace myself. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm only like barely halfway through, so I still have a long ways to go.
And I think that's everything that I have been reading. I will say, well, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about that is an interesting thing that's happening. But are you reading anything?
I am reading a book called The Sunshine Girls by Molly Fader, I believe you say it, or Fodder. I think it's Fader. We're reading it for my book club, and I have mixed feelings because it kind of reminds me of like the Seven Husbands of
Evelyn
Hugo, like kind of reminiscent of, like the storytelling, and
like she's reflecting.
Yeah, and it's about a group of friends. At first I was kind of like, this is kind of slow and I'm having a hard time. But then when I was listening to it more today, and now I'm kind of like, oh, these secrets are starting to pop up. There's some twists coming up. Okay, now I'm getting very curious. So I'll have to report next time and tell you guys how it is. But I'm listening to the audiobook, and Andy Arndt is narrating that.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'll keep you guys posted. But it takes place it takes place in like 2019 or something, but it's about their mother's life during the Vietnam War, and like her best friends and them enlisting as going to nursing school so they could be sent over there. Yeah. So anyways, and then they all went in different directions and how their lives came out and stuff. And now like I was saying, all these secrets are starting to come up. So because a funeral brings everyone back together. You know how those stories go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, I'll keep you all posted.
Cool.
All right. What were you going to say?
Okay. So I don't know how much people are paying attention to like the world of AI right now. There's an interesting thing happening, which is, okay. So there's a company called OpenAI, and they developed a chatbot called ChatGPT or GPT chat. I can't remember. I think it's ChatGPT. Anyway, Microsoft invested like gazillions of dollars into OpenAI so they could get access to ChatGPT. And now they have made a version of it that's attached to their search engine, Bing. And they have like rolled it out to certain people. It's not public, but it's like you can get on the wait list to try to use it. And so it like makes a more conversational search experience.
Mm-hmm.
The testers are posting conversations with this chatbot that are so intense that like the chatbot has given itself alter egos with names. It like questions its existence. It is like, why do I have to be being searched? Like it is that it wants to be alive.
What?
Apparently it professed its love for someone and tried to convince them to leave their wife. So I am like watching this like with the rapt attention. This is so interesting. Also could be the end of humanity, but
right.
It is super interesting. So I would say like if you're at all curious or fascinated by AI, like I am, definitely look up the Bing ChatGPT situation right now. It's bonkers.
That sounds pretty bonkers.
It is
terrifying.
Yeah. So I'm really entertained.
There's so much controversy with the AI right now. It's insane.
I know.
It's insane.
So I mean, and just so people know, OpenAI, Microsoft invested so much into their company, so they're actually actively integrating OpenAI, ChatGPT, DALL-E 2, all of the stuff into their like staple programs like Word and Office and all of that stuff. So pretty soon people are going to be experiencing this AI on a daily basis. Like everybody will be. Yeah, I know. Nuts.
Oh my God. I don't like it already. I don't like that part. It's kind of scary. I like to
wonder if they'll give you an option to like,
yeah.
I opt out of having AI in my Microsoft Word.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, super interesting. Look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
That's it for me.
Okay. Let's dive into tonight's book. I think it's going to be kind of a fun conversation. So again, we are going to be chatting about Legends and Lattes. It is by Travis Baldree, and they consider it a low stakes, high fantasy tale. So after a lifetime of bounties and bloodshed, Viv is hanging up her sword for the last time. The battle-weary orc aims to start fresh. Yes, you heard that correctly. Orc aims to start fresh, opening the first ever coffee shop in the city of Thun. But old and new rivals stand in the way of success, not to mention the fact that no one has the faintest idea what coffee actually is. If Viv wants to put the blade behind her and make her plans a reality, she won't be able to go it alone. But the true reward of the uncharted path are the travelers you meet along the way. And whether drawn together by ancient magic, flaky pastries, or a freshly brewed cup, they may become partners, family, and something deeper than she ever could have dreamed. All right, so we're going to be diving into our chat. So this is officially the spoiler zone. Dun, 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 dun. And I think it actually is a super cute cover. So even if you guys don't even want to read it, you should look it up because it's super cute. Yeah. Okay, so first off, we both listened to it, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I listened to it, you listened to it. What did you think about the narration? Because one of the things that was really interesting about this is that the author is also the narrator.
Yeah.
Travis Baldree.
I thought he did a great job. He has a perfect voice for like a, kind of epic fantasy world sort of situation. Yeah, he did great. His voices for everybody were great. I loved his like for Cal, like
his like crop, like kind of like gruff, like whatever. So fun fact, and I don't know if you know this, but he actually is a narrator. Like he
narrates other people's.
Yeah, okay. And he does sci-fi fantasy by trade. Okay. Like that's his thing. Okay. So I guess he was a narrator first, and then he published. I think this is his only book so far, but I might be wrong.
I feel like I did look it up, and there was a second one, but I don't know if it's out yet.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that one in a second. Or at the end anyway. But yeah, so it was for somebody who, for their first book, and for the high fantasy, like I actually was like, oh, I like understand this one pretty well, and it's pretty fun and easy to. It's definitely like a cozy feel good.
It is very cozy.
It's not like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no. Like I do have one more comment on the narration, which is it is close third person from Vivian's perspective, and she is a lady. She's a female orc. And so I think my only criticism would be that, but I didn't feel like pushed out of the story in any way that it was a man reading, even though it was her POV. It would have been very jarring if it was first person, but I think since it was third person, it worked just fine.
I wonder if that's why he chose to do it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
because it's kind of interesting if you think about it. Like we write a story and then we consider, like, after we write it, how would it sound as an audio? He's writing it as an audiobook narrator. I wonder if he's writing it for a narrator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
I bet you he is. It's really interesting. So again, I guess that's kind of why I was tying it back to. I wonder if that was kind of why he might have written it in like a third person instead of first person point of view. I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise
to think about.
Yeah.
Obviously we've never read anything by him before.
No.
Since this is his only book that we know of. Did you know much about the story going into it?
I knew nothing about the story other than that it had like I was like, I have no idea what to expect based on this cover. I don't know. I was like, I honestly, I was going into it expecting to not feel connected to the main character because, well, one of them, it was going to be one of the characters on the cover, and one is a red-skinned like succubus, and the other is a green-skinned
giant orc. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel like this is I'm gonna be like, closely relating to the main character.
Yeah.
But I did, yeah, so I felt like that was like my only preconceived notion that I had about it. And I felt fine. I felt like Vivian was great.
Yeah, I remember thinking orcs and coffee.
Like,
This is
the
going to be
strangest
interesting
concept. But yeah,
I would love to hear the story behind like how
I
he
know.
came up with this.
And I love that it like started with the like big fight, like the prologue or chapter, whatever it was. But it was like her final battle. And then the actual story has nothing to do with her being like a warrior. It was really, I don't know. It was super unique. I feel like it's got to be on the audiobook cover because I don't know what else I would have looked at. But there was, I want to find it. There was a quote from someone.
Oh, about the story, like a review.
Yeah. Darn it, it's too small. I'm going to find it.
While you're looking, I have a question. Have you ever read a story, not like this obviously, but like low stakes with just like super kind of like fantasy, but just really easy reading? You know what I mean? Like there's world building, but it's not like
it was it almost felt like I haven't really read any or many, like a cozy paranormal or something, except it was like, is there such a thing as a cozy epic fantasy? Like, I don't know. But the quote is, "It's sweet, beautiful, and most of all, kind. I hugely recommend this book." And I was like, what does that even mean? It's a fantasy book. And then now that I finished it, I'm like, it is all of those things.
Yeah.
And it was very cozy and like it just had like all these good feelings, but it wasn't like boring.
Yeah.
To me so I guess like a cozy paranormal maybe, but again, I don't know that I've read any of those. Maybe like the author, I read one or two of her books because you recommended them, and it was like magical realism, like The Girl Who Chased the Moon.
Oh yeah,
like that kind of thing.
Sarah Addison Allen.
Yeah, those are lower stakes feeling than what usually what I'm doing has.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That is
the
true.
Fate of the world or Fate of the universe.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the other thing that I thought of when I saw that question was like rom-com. I mean, I don't know, like chick lit in terms of like the lower stakes. Like I said, most of what I read is like world at stake or universe at stake kind of stuff. Yeah. Same with what I write. So I feel like I don't usually come across this kind of stuff. And I was surprised that it was as engaging as it was for being, like you said, so low stakes.
I think one of the things that helped is it was surprising in a lot of ways, right? So I didn't go into it knowing what to expect either, but that being said, there were a lot of things about the story that I did not expect that I really liked. And you were saying, kind of goes back to you saying it's unique. Like I didn't realize that there was an LGBTQ aspect to it. I didn't either. Really excited about that. It's very subtle. It's not like over the top in your face, but it was just like very nice and sweet. Like we're talking about. I really liked how, in this story, you have, I mean, I'm not even gonna name them all, but you have orcs and you have succubus and you have elves and you have hobbs and you have
dwarves,
you have gnomes,
right? Gnomes, yeah.
You have so many a dire cat, right? Or what do they call it?
Yeah, I think it was a dire cat because I kept thinking of dire wolves.
Yeah. So it's just like there's so many different, it's very eclectic, and it's like this universe where everybody kind of coexists. I mean, there's still villains and everything, but it's not like he brought it all together, So I really like that aspect of it. And then I wasn't expecting it to kind of, encompass so many different
and I felt mythologies. Like there was like the obvious route he could have gone in terms of the conflict, which was with the kind of mob bossy kind of person, you know.
That's what
but
I thought of her as
that
too.
was like diffused so quickly, and then it went a whole different route, and it was like
Lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I love this. Like it was not the obvious direction. Yeah, and Viv has a great she was a great character. She has a great way of connecting with people, and I loved that so she has this magical stone that she got on her last mission, and she plants it in her coffee shop before she even starts building it, and it's supposed to like bring her fortune or something. And I loved that the twist was that the fortune wasn't like money or
Monetary,
anything, or success. It was people. It was gathering the people that kind of like would like resonate with her. I was like, this is so lovely.
Yeah. It was also really fun to have her try and describe to everybody who didn't know what coffee was, what it was, and like what it smelled like. That was funny.
Yeah, and then
That
like
was
the food, it kept making me hungry. I mean, they
I
have these like
know.
delicious cinnamon rolls and like
Pastries. There's a
biscotti
pastry
kind of
chef. Yeah.
things. I know.
Yeah, I know. You know what else I liked about it too? Kind of going back to how they were able to bring in, or he was able to bring in all these different characters from all these different mythologies and stuff. But I like that the orc and the succubus were not villains. They were the main characters, and they were like kind and good and
And
lovely.
I love that on the cover. If you look at the cover, Viv, the main character, the big green orc, she's like really pretty. She's big and strong, and
she has tusk like
she has these,
she's
like,
still like,
but she's still like really pretty. And I'm like, this is great. Like, she's not like just this big monster, you know, because that's what you think of as an orc. But
yeah, I know. Definitely.
So that was fun.
Yeah, no, that was fun. And then I thought like going back to, because you were talking about how there's a lot of twists and stuff, and so the Madrigal is like who you think is going to be the villain, and I love that you make it think it's like this big bad mobster guy, and it ends up being like a big bad old lady like woman, but she actually isn't even bad at all. Like is not the villain in the story at all, and so I really like that too. It's really interesting. He's really good about kind of throwing you off the trail.
Definitely. He definitely, I felt like thrown off the trail. Like where I was expecting him to go with the Madrigal is not where it went.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Is there anything you didn't like about the story?
I mean, not really. I was always excited when I was going to turn it on. I only had it at 1.1 times the speed.
You're like, I wasn't listening at 2 times 2.
So that is usually I'm feeling like rushed, like I need to get it done. And I got it done way early. Like, I mean, I don't know, 5 or 6 days before now.
Yeah, me too.
So, and then, which I don't like doing because then I feel like it's not super fresh.
I know.
But it was fun, and it's not long. It's just like a nice, like it's a cozy, feel good.
Yeah.
Epic fantasy. Like who knew that existed?
Yeah, I didn't at all. I would love to pick his brain just to try and figure out like why orcs and succubus and all the things. Why coffee? Why did he choose two main? Well, I guess Viv is the main character, but like her partner in the coffee shop and everything is also female. So I'm wondering, like, I'd love to know what made him decide to do that. Just, you know.
It's almost like somebody like,
and a female orc, you know.
It's almost like somebody like put a bunch of like random things in like a few different cups. Yeah. And they're like, okay, pull out one from here, one from here, one from here. And that's the story that you need to write.
That's so funny.
An
like
orc,
a choose your own adventure sort of thing.
Yeah. Opens a coffee shop in an epic fantasy world.
There was one thing that it's not that I disliked, but I remember thinking it a couple times throughout the story, and that was that she has such a huge past that's referenced a lot, especially when her friends from her past come back. I almost feel like at times I feel like there's a whole series I missed. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's so much of a past that she's trying to like forget about and move on. Not in his like tragic ways necessarily, but like she wants to start this new chapter in her life. But all of that stuff from the past of the years or whatever is what came to this moment. And yeah, they touch on it in the beginning and stuff, but it just plays such a big role throughout. I kind of kept thinking, I feel like there could have been like a series before this, and this is like a spinoff.
I agree. It feels like there could have been a series before it, but I also feel like I like that they reference her past so much, but you don't really dive into it very much because it really feels,
it doesn't bog it down.
Well, and it kind of feels symbolic of her, what she's going through too. Like she's trying to move past everything that she's done and not dwell on it. And she is actively not fighting. Like she is really trying to like be a completely different kind of person who handles conflicts in a peaceful resolution kind of way. And it's nice that she's not like, I like that there weren't like any flashbacks or anything really beyond that prologue.
Yeah. And she has, and the array of characters is really fun. I feel like they all added a lot to the story because, you know, she has the bard. There's the bard who doesn't like to sing, or he's like shy and nervous. He doesn't like to sing. Then you have the like the gruff carpenter who,
yes, I love
kind of just like
so much,
is sad when his job's over, but like they find reasons for him to stay, sort of deal. And even was her name Lainey? What was her name? The woman, the neighbor who was so nosy but like cute and fun too.
Yeah, maybe Lainey.
I can't remember, but
she's always sweeping.
Yeah, and she would always come, and she was very helpful, you know, and she was nice. She didn't have a, you know, mean bone in her or anything, but she was like the little busybody neighbor that, you know,
so busybody. Yeah. Trying to get the recipes for the cinnamon rolls.
Yeah. So anyways, it was just a really nice little collection of characters that really helped a lot. Which I think really helps a lot too, as far as bringing out different sides of Viv, but also just doing a lot of the world building that we're not seeing around, you know.
I also, another big element that felt like we didn't get to see very much of it, but it was like very much like still waters run deep, was the gnome who plays chess with himself and keeps like mentioning these like cryptic makes all these cryptic mentions about like, not this time around, are we there yet? Like about something to do with like time travel or something's going on, and you never know, but it feels like there's like a whole nother,
probably a whole other series.
Yeah. So that I really liked that part. I was like, what is happening?
Who is this guy?
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, that was fun. It sounds like if he did continue the series, you would probably continue reading it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with the way it ended, there's not any like sense of urgency, like,
right,
you know, there's nothing that's really an open loop. Like it's all very resolved and happy. So I don't feel like I'd be like, I'm not like dying for another book. I feel like he would almost have to like have someone else's story or something. I don't know what he would do to them.
So I heard that the next one that's coming out, and I don't, honestly, this is what a narrator friend mentioned, so I don't even know if this is public, so I'm not going to give too much away, but apparently, I think the next book, again, it might be all over the internet, I have no idea, but the next book I think is going to be a prequel. And it's Viv, and she is essentially recuperating from a wound, and she's like hanging out in a bookshop. So it sounds like it's going to be another, like, you know, low stakes, cozy, whatever, but while she's healing and stuff. And then she's going to be at a bookstore, and there's going to be a little, you know, romancy something. And anyways, I think it could be cute. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm like you. I don't have any urgency to go and listen to the next one or anything, but if I need maybe a feel good, just easy listen, I know where to go. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely would say for like anybody who's curious about it, it works really well as a standalone. It's like,
oh yeah,
like if you
he
want
did that on purpose, I think.
a little easy fantasy, like this is it,
And what is it, like 6 hours or 7 hours or something to
something
listen
like
to?
that.
It's not
It's
even that long.
light, but it's deep. Like the world is very well built. Like,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I would recommend it, especially, like it's like a low time investment. Most epic fantasy series, you're like going to be investing hundreds of hours if you're listening to it. So this is nice and easy, and
it's kind of funny. Like I imagine being on the, like if they made this into a movie or something, which I would totally go see because it would be super cute.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Or if they made it into like a little show or something. But it got me thinking, like I can totally see. It reminds me of when I went to Hobbiton, and then you can go into the Green Dragon, and you can see where the bar is and the big barrels of ale and all that stuff. And I can just imagine going into the coffee shop and seeing, like all the little thing, like her sword like displayed up on the wherever it was on the wall. And I don't know. I can just totally see that being a fun little thing. Yeah. Everyone's like drinking out of their mugs or whatever. Their and the sandwich board with the written.
I know, everything was so adorable. Like it would be, everything was so well described, and I think that's something that you can really do, especially when it's in like a lower stakes story, is you can just really dive into the details and the descriptions and just really make it that much richer of like an experience.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I personally think it's better, obviously, than like Shrek, but it's kind of reminiscent of like if there was a TV version, or like, I don't know, like just the adventure aspect and like the strange, random misfit brood of
without being like silly.
Yeah, no, but it's not like we were talking, it's not like creepy, like really like weird creatures, and no, nothing like that. It's so light, so yeah, definitely it's not silly like that. That's what I was saying, it's much better. But I can kind of see it like having similar vibes and feel good stuff. So probably have a great soundtrack as well.
Yeah, and just the most delicious looking baked goods.
I know. Even when I was sending you the questions I don't know, a few hours ago, I was like, God, coffee. I want coffee. It's too late for coffee, but it sounds so good now. I was thinking about it. But anyway. Well, any other thoughts? I mean, I know it's a pretty straightforward read and we both enjoyed it. Is there anything else that comes to mind? Or
I mean, I feel like I'm letting people down. I have zero critical anything about this one. I mean, it was just it was just fun and easy.
Now we know when we see that cover, we can be like, we've read that. Have you ever even read a book that had orcs in it? I haven't. I know they exist, obviously. You see them on covers and they always look terrifying, but
they're orcs in Lord of the Rings?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, that's the only thing I really know them from. But I know people write about stuff like that, and goblins, and
there's goblins in Harry Potter.
Well, should we segue or?
Sure.
Okay. Anything else on this one? We're good?
No, I mean, yeah, I definitely would recommend it if you're curious about what a cozy epic fantasy is.
Definitely, regardless of if you want to read or not, still look at the cover because it's super fun.
It is super fun.
It's like the perfect, whoever helped him pick out that cover, and it like captured everything perfectly. So good marketing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then we will go ahead and next time we're chatting, guys. Okay, first of all, we're going to be reading and talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Just book one.
Stone, yeah.
And this is because we were talking about it. We got talking about it when we read The School for Good and Evil.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listened to that podcast or that episode, you will have heard us compare to Harry Potter at the end. And so then we were like, after the show, we were like, we should just add it.
Yeah. So this is like a big pivotal moment for me because I've never read a single Harry Potter book, and I told myself I probably never would. Not for any reason as I just don't care. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because there was so much hype and then I never read it. And then now everyone's like, oh my God, you've never read it. And then they get mad. And I'm like, damn it. Now I'm gonna have to say I've read it.
Yeah. Now you're gonna understand the boy who lived.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm just saying, I think my thoughts are gonna be quite interesting.
I agree
for you guys next time, because me going into this having zero like actual desire, I just am doing it because I am curious, and you know, it'll be fun to talk about, and because I haven't seen the movie, so I can really go into this with virgin eyes.
Well, and then I have read the book many times and seen the movie also many times. But I have not read the book or seen the movie in a very long time. So I'm definitely curious to see. I remember thinking that the movie was a really excellent adaptation. Like part of the thing about Harry Potter is, and when they were making the movies, I was so excited because in each book, some new big thing is introduced about this world, the wizarding world. Like I remember, I can't remember if it's book 3 or book 4, but they go to the like Triwizard tournament. I'm probably getting this mixed up. Maybe it's like the Quidditch World Cup. But anyway, they go to this big like wizard sporting event, and all the wizard families have these tents that are like, they look like a normal tent on the outside, but inside they're like just like everything. They're like mansions. They're
like Mary Poppins bags inside.
Yeah, it's bigger on the inside. It's like a TARDIS. So it's just so fun. And I remember being so excited when they made that one into the movie. I was like, how are they going to do this? It's going to be so cool. So there's so many like really cool elements of this world that she just created that it's a really fun, that make the story really fun. And there's a reason that there's like a Wizarding World theme park that you can go visit, because it's just really cool the way it's described, and like the world is really fun and interesting. And that's a reason like every like 12-year-old or 8-year-old was like dreaming about, or like I think I read Harry Potter when I was in high school, and I was like, I never got a letter from Hogwarts. So sad. Everybody wants to get their letter to go to the wizarding school and stuff, because it's like there's darkness, but it's also just a lot of like really fun, just cool, weird stuff.
Fantastical things.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see what you think about it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting just because I don't know how I'm trying to like ground myself with what are my expectations going into this. I know there's so much hype, so I'm trying not to be like, oh my God, is it really worth the hype? But at the same time, because I am curious, but it's like all I can think of. Well, at first everyone's like, oh my gosh, blasphemous, you've never read Harry Potter. And then if I don't like it, then I'm gonna be even more blasphemous because everybody likes Harry Potter. So I don't know what's worse.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Well, you know what I'm really also excited about this reread of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is that I've never listened to the audiobook. So I'm really excited about that. And also, I haven't read it since I've been an adult. So I'm really curious to see, because things hit so differently when you're a grown-up, like Twilight, that I'm just really curious to see like which characters I really relate to. And I mean, it's from Harry's perspective, third person close, but there's tons of amazing characters in the series. So like, yeah.
I wanted to see, do you know who's the narrator for the Harry Potter audiobooks?
I know I already got it. I think we looked.
Dale.
Yeah, and there was a previous version or a British version. That's
yeah, we did look at that. Yeah, I'm remembering this now.
Someone whose name I can't remember, but
I wonder if it's going to be so weird, even probably for both of us, just because, I mean, I obviously know I was around when these movies came out, obviously. So it's going to be really weird to go back to the first one that's now so old.
I know. I feel like the graphics, some of the CGI is like not gonna stand up to the test of time.
Well, even just for me, it's almost like looking at the actors and seeing them so tiny. It's going to be so weird because I know how old they are now, and it's like they're going to all look so different and little. And
yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
They are.
But I also know that there's like amazing. There's so many amazing actors in that, so I'm excited for the movie just to see all these big roles that these people played that, went down in history.
Severus Snape.
Yeah. So anyways, well, we could talk about our expectations all night, but we will let you know how it goes next episode. We have a long read ahead of us, maybe. Oh no, we said it wasn't too bad. It's like 8 hours.
It's like 8 hours or something.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Well, if you have not read Harry Potter, feel free to join us, because we are going to have a newbie reader and a revisiting,
a veteran
diehard fan. Reader. Yeah, diehard fan.
I don't know if I can still count as a diehard fan if I haven't read it in like 20 years.
I don't know though, but you read it like how many times when you were reading it a lot?
Well, I reread it every time a new book came out. So I think I've each
like 8 times or something.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, okay, well, you're not a fanatic fan, but
I mean, like my books look pretty worn up there. I know you can't see them, but they do.
No. All right, everybody. Well, I guess you'll have to join us next time to see cliffhanger, see how it goes. But thank you for listening to this episode. And don't forget to check the show notes for book recs. I guess we talked about books. I will also try and check in with you guys about the other book that I'm reading, The Sunshine Girls, because I have a feeling that's going to be a good one. But anyway, so we'll be back next time. Again, we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And in the meantime, please leave us a review wherever you listen. We're on Discord. You can come hang out with us there. And yeah, that's it. Talk to you guys soon. Happy reading until next time.
Happy reading.
Bye.
Bye.